What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Unpopular Opinions. This is episode 5, and let's get straight into it. And the first one is, this is from LJW COYS THFC, and he says, Nuno should be sacked if we don't get top 4. Wow.
Oh, well, that's an unpopular opinion.
Wow.
At least that is a very unpopular opinion. That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Very harsh.
Very harsh.
How can you sack a manager
can't.
in your first season not getting top 4? Especially if we haven't got it the last 2 seasons.
Especially as this is all about building something new. It's going to be a little bit of a transition period, I think, you know. Whereas you can't really say that about the last couple of seasons, where that should have been about consolidating top 4. But now I think you've got to give Nuno some time. Yeah. And I think as long as he's within the top 6, I think he's okay for next season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Absolutely spot on. I think that it's too hard to judge. You can't judge Nuno on getting top 4 this season. Next year, potentially. Even next year is not a certainty that you're going to judge him on top 4, but this year, completely out of the question in my opinion.
If he's mid-table, then I can understand it, but I think we're going to be in and around top 6. Yeah. So if we finish 5th
this year, it'll be considered a good
season.
That
would be a good season, actually. Very good if you think about it. Yeah. Considering all things considered. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Unpopular. Well done.
Take it away, John.
Okay, Kieran. Dier is the scapegoat in our team, but is our best centre-back, including Romero. He is scapegoated, isn't he? But I think justifiably. I think he's always shown the same mistakes every single season. I think he's always been clumsy, and I actually think we've seen him long enough to know that he can't take that out of his game, because I think it comes down to the mental, the cerebral side of his game, and I don't think you can change that. So as good as he looks, and you know he looks great at the moment, but he looked great this time last season. Just wait until the gaffes start coming in, Kieran, and then tell me if you feel the same way.
Who is our best centre back then?
Who is our best centre back? Yeah, it's probably going to be Romero, isn't it? But Dier and Sanchez are both a little bit calamitous.
But who would you put as the better defender between Dier and Sanchez?
I don't know. It's like the lesser of 2 evils, isn't it? To be honest with you, I think they both come with their flaws.
They both come with their strengths as well.
Dier is like your typical industrial style defender, and he'll look great, and you'll think, bloody hell, he's an incredible defender. Look how strong he is, and he's dealing with everything. But then he'll have a couple of brain farts, and you go, that's the reason why Dier's not top draw. Sanchez is slightly different. He's slightly more dynamic. He lunges in for a lot of tackles, and when he times them perfectly, you're like, great last minute sliding tackle there. Sanchez having a great game. But then when he comes up against the top echelon teams, when he goes in for that sliding tackle, he'll bring them down, give away a penalty, get a card, and then you're going, Sanchez, you are a donkey. What are you doing?
He'll plant his face into the ground against Man City.
Yeah, so that kind of thing. So face plant. So it's good at the moment, though, isn't it? That's the thing. It's good right now. What do you think, Ben?
It's hard to complain 3 games into the season.
Yeah, it's hard to complain.
We said the same at the beginning of last season as well. At the end of the day, and I can't call Dier the best centre back at the club. Cool. I just can't. No. Even if he was, I just couldn't. I think when you compare Dier and Sanchez, it's hard to pick who the actual better centre back is. But I slightly sway more to the side of Davinson Sanchez, but I'm not 100% sure on it. And
is that recency bias, though?
Could be. I think so. Probably. I think when you're bringing Romero into the picture, though, you can't say a defender who got Defender of the Year in Serie A last season is any worse than Dier or Sanchez.
Do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the season, like the centre-back pairings, Romero and Rodon, could happen.
I mean, that's what I said in the summer. That's what I'd wanted to see. That's what I said in the summer when we signed Romero. Yeah. But who do you think Romero's kind of first centre-back partner will be? Who will be his first point of call?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of fans want Sanchez instead of Dier to be that second partner, but then Dier's up for a Player of the Month award, isn't he? So I wonder what Nuno's thinking. For me, Dier has looked very composed on the ball, and also when I've watched him, you can see him commanding the other defenders, if you know what I mean, more so than Sanchez. So I think he could be more of a leader in that respect. So I think if someone is going to come out, I think Nuno will actually take out Sanchez, but then I would quite like to see Sanchez play with Romero. I'd quite like to see what that partnership looks like. But look, I think during the season, you're going to see a lot of different permutations of the back line. So you will probably see a Romero and Sanchez, a Romero and Dier and Sanchez, and then hopefully when Rodon comes in, I think he could establish himself as well. So
do you remember about a year ago, just under a year ago, I was saying that that Dier had leadership qualities and captain material.
Yeah, I remember.
And you kind of like slated me about that.
No, because you said you never said it.
No, I didn't say that. I never said it. I said I never said he should be captain.
Oh, I see what you mean.
But I said he had leadership and captain material about him.
Do you still think that or not?
And what you just said there just proves to me even more that he's got it. That he's got that leadership material. He's telling everyone where to go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying by any means, any stretch of the imagination, that I want him to be the captain, but that's what I meant by it.
Right, I see what you mean.
He's got leadership qualities.
Yeah, he does. He's just got the gaffes though, and I think once the gaffes start adding up, then people are going to get frustrated with him. At the same time, same as we saw last season, he looked great for the first half or the first third of last season, and then he kept doing the thing where he wasn't tracking the flight of the ball, and he was giving away a lot of cheap goals that way.
And that is why I don't think he should be our captain.
Yeah,
but I think he's got leadership qualities about him.
He has, and I think the older he's getting, and the fact he's becoming more of a senior player in the team, I think other players are looking up to him as the big brother figure. I think he's always kind of been a character to have in the dressing room, but I think as he's getting old, he is now one of the. Well, he must be one of the senior players now, isn't he? Yeah. So I think he's now adapted. He's now becoming that kind of more of a leadership figurehead in the team. So I think that could be a good influence on the rest of the players. But let's just wait and see for the gaffes to come.
Let's wait and see. But let's move on. The next one is from Echo BDO saying Kane, the best striker in the world, but he slows down our attacking tempo. Yeah. That's not unpopular in your mind, John.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. And I talk about this with Sim, and I got so much abuse for saying this. I don't know why. I don't know why it is. Like, I'm a Spurs fan. I'm not a Harry Kane fan, if you know what I mean. Like, I always put the team first. But there's a lot of fans out there that just if you even dare criticize anything about Kane, they almost see it as though you're attacking Spurs. Yeah. And I just don't understand that narrative. For me, he's a great player, but there's no player bigger than the club. And I think as good as Harry Kane is, and yeah, you can argue he's the best striker in the world if you want to do that, but you have to say that when he plays, there is a different dynamic to the way that we play. There's a different complexion. And I think that it's okay to mention that. I just don't see why you can't. I don't get that narrative.
I completely agree with it. I think that we play a different way with Kane and without Kane. I think you're absolutely spot on about that. But it doesn't mean that we can't be as effective with Kane and as effective without Kane. I just think it shows that we can play in different ways and different ways to attack different sorts of teams. So,
do you agree with that though? Do you agree he does slow it down? Because a lot of fans don't even see that.
I can see that he does slow it down, yeah, and I can see that when he doesn't play under Pochettino, maybe under Nuno as well, we become a bit more fluid up front. Yeah, I can see that, but I can also see that Harry Kane is a top class striker, world class striker, and I still think we're better off with him than without him.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's just the only thing I would say to add to that is with Harry Kane, you always have to play him, you have to start him, and then I don't see Nuno having the balls to like bring him off after 60 minutes. I think Kane would be like, "What are you doing? Like, I'm Harry Kane." So that means you're stuck with that one dynamic for the whole 90 minutes. Yeah. Whereas if we're saying that there is a different dynamic with like the fluid front three, when are they ever going to get given a chance? They're not.
I think if Kane is not having a bad game, I think that he should be able to come off the pitch. I don't see why he shouldn't. He's not.
Yeah, but he wasn't having a good game against Watford. Yeah. He never came off.
It's true. But I don't think he was that bad against Watford. I think he was still impacting the game well with dropping deep and playing
I thought he was totally anonymous.
I disagree. I think that he was good to a certain degree. Like, I probably would have given him like a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, something like that.
I thought I didn't see anything from him, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of fans thought he had a good game, but I just didn't see it. I thought it was one of his lesser performances.
It was.
But then if he has a lesser performance, why can't a manager say bring him off and bring someone on? But
I think they can.
I just think
they should be able to anyway.
You should, but you mentioned a good word. You said his stature is so big. And I think that's the problem. His reputation comes before him, his performances, which means as though if he is having a bit of a lukewarm game, it takes a lot of balls for a manager to go, I want to take him off, but it's Harry Kane. Let's take him off.
But with Harry Kane, he's one of the best finishers in world football.
And he can still finish it off.
You know that if he's having a bad game, he can still come up with that goal. And
that's true as well. And that's what you sacrifice. It's like, what do you prefer? You can keep Harry Kane on knowing that he can get you that goal because he's a supreme finisher, or you kind of the other element of that is you take him off, but you introduce a new element which is a lot more fluidity and like quick 1-2s, interchanging, quick in the transitions, which could like open up the opposition's defence a little bit more.
I just think we're more likely to score with Kane on the pitch than without Kane on the pitch. And if it's going into the last 20 minutes, half an hour, and we desperately need a goal, I'll prefer Kane to be on the pitch.
Possibly, but I think sometimes you say that because he's the player that he is. But I think when he's not playing, but when he's not playing, I think the whole team sort of ups their game a little bit more, and you get more of a team performance, which can then lend itself more to a goal as well. So individually, yes, but as a team, I think sometimes we can look a lot more threatening.
Well, I want to know you guys' opinions on this one in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about this tweet from Echo BDO. Let's move on to the next one.
Yep, next one. Here we go. Alex, Reguilon, Sanchez, Romero, Emerson.
I
forgot the name.
Tanguy Fantastics, whatever it says.
Tanguy Fantastics. Alex at Tanguy Fantastics. He says, Reguilon, Sanchez, Romero, Emerson is the third best defensive unit in the league, only behind Chelsea and Liverpool.
I disagree. Strong disagree.
Okay, go on, Ben.
Chelsea and Liverpool, better. Manchester United are better too, with Varane, Maguire, Luke Shaw, and Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah.
Who else are in the top four? Man City,
yep.
Ruben Dias, John Stones, Cancelo. I mean, they're better than what you're saying there. So I think that there's four already. That's better than Tottenham.
Leicester, maybe
by some way. Leicester. Jury's out on Leicester because it's difficult to say because Leicester's got big defensive injuries this season. We haven't seen their first team defence play yet this season. But I think definitely those four teams are all better than us in defensive units.
I think with these, with our back line there, Reguilon, Sanchez, Romero, Emerson, a lot of those are still blossoming, if you know what I mean. Reguilon, we only bought him last season. We saw what he could produce, especially in the first half of the season. I'd still like him to get back to those heights. I still don't think he's quite got back to the heights that he showed the first half of last season.
He's shored it up defensively, though.
Yeah, I think that's the question mark is defensively Reguilon, but I think going forward he looks excellent. Sanchez looks as though we might be seeing a little bit of a change of Sanchez this year. I'm hoping so. A little bit more determination. You like Ali showing a little bit more determination. I think we're seeing a different mentality from him. Romero's a new. Yes, he's established, but he's coming in as a kind of we want to see how he gets on, and Emerson as well. So this team, this back line here could show something that we're not. It's not noticeable right now. They could blossom into something, couldn't they?
They could, but as it stands right now...
As it stands
right now, I think they're probably the fifth best defensive unit in the league.
Yeah. But there could be room for potential with this lot.
Yeah,
there could be room for growth.
Of course they could, but you can't say that until they actually show it.
But right now, no, I can't see that.
Yeah. So I think that is the end of episode 5. And actually, John, all of those were unpopular opinions,
I think they were actually, yeah. So you're doing well, guys. Get those unpopular. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Some really nice unpopular ones. Yeah.
All right. Well so that is episode 5. Episode 6 will be with you very, very shortly. So thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for contributing. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.